Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to go over the 3 mistakes that students commonly make when taking the CELPIP speaking test. Let's go over these mistakes and let's make sure you don't make the same mistakes on your big day. Alright guys, so the first mistake that a lot of students make is they end up speaking too fast. Now you have to remember that timing is a very important element of your response. And when you speak too fast, what happens is you don't give yourself enough time to think. And unfortunately, a lot of students, they falsely equate speed with fluency. Now, it's very important for you to understand that speed and fluency are not the same thing. When you speak too fast, you're not necessarily going to be graded on a higher scale because of the speed of your speaking. Instead, what the examiner is going to look at is your ability to speak effortlessly, naturally, and without too many unnecessary pauses. Now, if you speak at the pace that is convenient and comfortable to you, then you are going to come off as someone who is speaking much more naturally and fluently. All right, mistake number 2, guys. The second biggest mistake that a lot of students make is they forget about the timer. The timer is always displayed on the screen. And I know that if you're always looking at the timer, it's going to give you a lot of stress. I'm not suggesting that you should constantly look at the timer when you are speaking. Not at all. Instead, I recommend that you look at the timer between your points. So for example, let's say in response to a question, I'm going to start with an introduction and then I'm going to introduce 2 points. I'm going to check the timer 3 times. Once after I finish my introduction, once after I finish my first point, and then once after I finish my second point, just to see how much time I have left and whether I need a wrap up. So don't forget about the timer, guys. You don't want to be surprised. You don't want to be put in that situation where you suddenly see the timer and notice that, oh my God, I haven't yet covered my second point and my time is up. Instead, you want to be ready, and by looking at the timer, you can plan ahead and you can determine how much time you still have left and how much detail you should include in the remaining part of your response. Okay, the third mistake that students make in the speaking part of the CELPIP is that they do not rely on their notes. Now, some students are just too confident. They think, I don't need notes. I've done this a lot. I can handle this. I don't need to focus on the notes that I've written. And then what happens is they either lose their train of thought or they end up missing part of the information that was supposed to be mentioned. A good candidate always has their notes structured and they've written it in a very clear way that would allow them to go over the points that they are going to cover one by one. Another group of students, they actually write down the notes, but when it comes to speaking, they leave it aside, either because it's too messy and complicated or because they think that by looking at the notes, they're going to lose their coherence in their speaking, and they're going to sound like someone who's looking for notes or looking for certain piece of information in their notes. So my advice to you is take notes and make sure that your notes are very clear and structured so you don't get lost in the middle. Remember, even if advanced learners, when they take the test, and even when they're aiming for higher scores like 12, still they're going to rely on their notes. And you should definitely do the same thing. I hope you find this advice useful, guys. Good luck on your exam, and thank you for watching this video.